Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right. Welcome into Thirsty Thursday. Why not? Let's call it that. We're thirsty for some fun sports talk here today, and we're going to give it to you. We got lots of good stuff on the agenda today. Very pleased to be welcoming back the great Dave Mishkin. Will join us at 11:35. Cannot wait to talk to Mish about some the Lightning playoffs, which are coming up. They're going to clinch tonight, in case you didn't know. That's happening.
And you're going to get some bling.
I'm going to get some bling on Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday is the championship ring replica. I'll finally get a ring.
It's about time. How many
how many cups we got to win before I get a ring?
You've covered every cup so far to get one, a replica.
It's all good. I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get. Just happy to be part of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm just I'm ecstatic every time I get to go in there and do my thing. I love my job. I love my job. This is the greatest job in the world. I get to come here and talk sports with you and all of our wonderful listeners out there. How does it get any better than that, right? I don't have to be making gazillions of dollars as long as I can cover my favorite teams and talk sports with you guys and get roasted by Gino of Florida on Twitter. It's all good. He's mad at me because I call Paredes a slapdick prospect.
You called him a slapdick prospect.
But I didn't. I was referring to Blake Snell's infamous comment about getting a slapdick prospect back for, I forget which trade it was. Mm-hmm. Some other great player that we traded away and got prospects.
That was the Tommy Pham trade.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. And so I was not specifically talking about Paredes being a slapdick prospect. He's a good player. Obviously, he's killing it in AAA, which he tends to do. Hasn't done it in the major leagues in short periods of time. Not saying he's not going to, not giving up on the guy. It's just my reference was I would like to get a major league piece back, a major league arm that you could put into a rotation if you're going to trade an all-star who's hitting, 426 with the Tigers right now, scored the winning run on opening day?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I thought that. So when I said it called him a slap, I wasn't calling him. I was making a reference to not getting a major league player back in return that we could use right now. And that is more a shot at the Rays than Brady. So, Brady's, I'm sure he doesn't give a shit about what I think, but it wasn't direct. It wasn't personal in him. It was more about the philosophy of the trade. And Gino didn't really pick up on that. So he's every time Paredes farts and does something good,
like last night,
last night, he's going to send me a picture of him. What do you think of him now, man? I'm like, when he hits 30 bombs and 106 RBIs for the big club, call me. Because if you trade something, you're supposed to get something equal in return, right?
Yeah.
The chances of Paredes doing that in the major leagues, probably slim. But he's a good prospect. I get it, I just wanted more back and something that could help the team this year since we're, trying to win a World Series this year.
Yeah.
So that was my point.
And our Durham shuttle is wide open right now.
Did we pick the Rising Phoenix is coming up?
The Rising Phoenix is coming in.
Who's that?
Phoenix Sanders.
Phoenix Sanders.
It's
an exciting name right there.
It is.
It brings
it's an
images of Dion.
Name. It is an electric name.
Phoenix. It's wow. I love that.
I do love the name. And also,
is he as good as his name?
Yeah, he had a pretty good stint and so far in the minors. ERA under 3. A lot of strikeouts.
USF product.
And a USF product as well.
That?
I believe he was a teammate of Mr. Shane McClanahan.
We're going to start the show with. Yeah.
Yes. So some more USF guys on the team. So
that's good.
The guy Dustin Knight last night was DFA'd right away.
Yeah.
So the Durham train's going back and forth.
And they can only do 5 this year though, right?
I believe.
Yeah. So another CBA rule change that hurts the Rays. By the way, we're going to have a little topic discussion today. And I'll just be honest with you. I'm not sure where I fall on this topic, but you and I were hitting it around a little bit before the show. Have the Rays been good for baseball? The Rays, obviously, a lot of the things the Rays have done have revolutionized the game. But we're also sitting here saying the game has never been more aesthetically worse. Are we not? So has the Rays' impact on the game of baseball been overall positive? It's been positive for Stu Sternberg's bank account. He's taught everybody how to win on the cheap, but he hasn't won a World Series. An interesting, Andrew Friedman, who was actually the architect of this philosophy, has now gone on to win a World Series, but is also spending $300 million a year. So it's combining the best of the Rays and the best of a high payroll. And what you get is the Dodgers, who frankly should have more World Series by now, if we're being honest. But that's so ruminate on that topic, and maybe we'll put that out on Twitter. Maybe throw something out on Twitter. This is what we're talking about. You guys want to comment on it, and we'll get some. We can put your comments on the show today. So, well, I think it's a worthy discussion. By the way, Chris Torello is going to join us at 10:30. We'll ask him the same question. Overall, the shifting, the openers, using young players, trading off high price players, not keeping your players. All the things that the Rays have done to kind of revolutionize baseball, all the analytics that they use, is this overall good for the game? And I'm still not sure where I sit on that, to be quite honest. I mean, we can revisit our interview that we did with John Smoltz, which he did say it's not good for baseball overall. So we'll kick that around a little bit. All right, so let's get into it. Last night, the Rays lose 4-2 to the Oakland A's. Shane McClanahan was good. Man, his stuff was good last night, and I thought, wow, this is, he's a number one starter. His stuff is just that good. He touched 100 miles an hour last night. His curveball was crisp. He made, he walked two guys back to back. He was only 9 of 19 on first pitch strikes. That's going to get you, get your pitch count up. His stuff is too good for 9 of 19. That's where it all starts and ends for me. You got to be 0-1. If he's 0-1, he's in command. He's got everything going for him. When he's 1-0, you're giving the guys chances where they don't need to have chances. And your stuff is so good. You put it over the plate. You put a fastball over the middle of the plate, or just, a third of the plate. You're good. You're good. Weak contact is coming. And this is what something Doug Wechter said at the end of the game, and I completely agree with, is that get weak contact early in the count. That's how Kershaw, what did Kershaw have? 13 strikeouts through 7 innings last night. Yes. Perfect game going when he was lifted by the great Dave Roberts, Captain Hook, the only other manager to do that in the history of baseball.
Yes.
Yeah. With Rich Hill a few years ago. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But he had kind of no-hit stuff last night. I thought McClanahan, it was that good. But you just fall asleep and make one bad pitch in the big leagues, they gonna get you.
Yeah, and that's still what he's learning through. He always seems to have that one inning that kind of bites him. And I think on opening day, it was the first inning where he was able to scramble out of it. And to his credit, he pitched really good. Now, that was the Orioles, obviously, not a world beater. Last night was a team that has really had the Rays number, I'd say, in this series, just hitting off of every pitcher that's come their way. Mm-hmm. But those first 3 innings, Brian Anderson was doing a great job of pointing it out, and so was Dwayne Stats. Those hitters were lost after the first pitch of the at-bat, and you had them beat already. Like poor Elvis Andrus, I think, in the 3rd inning, had one of the worst at-bats I've ever seen.
16 swings and misses.
In 4 2/3.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
You don't see that every day.
Yeah, and yet he loses the game. How? Well, first of all, I'll say 9 of 19, but that umpire was.
Oh, he was awful. Yeah, I need to get the name there, but on both sides, very, very inconsistent.
Yeah, I was never for robotic umpires, balls and strikes, but
I'm still not. Just like this new thing where they're
so bad.
You know about the whole thing. They don't even put signs down anymore.
Yeah, I know. They got the wristband.
Even that bothers me.
Why does that bother you?
Just
see that to me is like,
why?
But first of all, it keeps you from sign stealing.
Oh my gosh. If you're going to not do a better job of hiding it.
Okay.
The second baseman earned his spot on that base to do whatever the hell he wants.
The guy who got to second base.
Yes.
So he's allowed to steal the signs.
I don't care.
I mean, you should be better at it. I get it. But I will say this. It speeds up the game, allegedly.
JP, let me tell you what this is.
Except when it goes,
Let me tell you what this is.
Lose our Wi-Fi.
We've been over this already.
I got bad Wi-Fi. I can't get the pitch in.
And what if it doesn't buzz in his ear? What's going on? I mean, that's the thing. It sends a buzzer to his ear.
It sends
really?
No,
or vibration or whatever?
No, you've heard it. It goes change up. It does. And it speaks. Fastball. Inside. Yeah.
It's
Fastball in.
It's just unneeded.
Fastball in.
It's unneeded.
Change up. You suck. Throw more strikes.
I'll tell you what.
See, that's what I would put on. I would put on there like, stop nibbling.
Stop nibbling.
Trust your stuff. We should have
every cliche.
See,
there.
This is brilliant. I come up with this. Yeah, we could have another wristband that has like all the baseball cliches.
And you don't even need a pitching coach then. We don't need mound visits.
Well,
we don't need any of that.
Kyle Snyder needs like a Darth Vader like armband. Like, stop nibbling.
Yeah.
Don't be such a wuss. Let's go. Pitch. Walk them.
I don't like your ideas to fix baseball.
You're awful.
I really don't.
Go back to Durham.
Go back to Durham.
Which one is that? Like, yeah, fans could have. Like, what happens when this is stupid. What happens when some guy hacks in and starts changing everything? How many pitches did they need to get crossed up before they figure somebody hacked his wristband? How funny would that be?
It's a disaster.
It's a disaster waiting to happen.
Like I tell you all the time, my best example, when one person smokes weed in the high school bathroom, the bathroom gets closed because everybody's got to fall for one idiot. And that's what happened. The Astros ruined it for everybody.
Ruined it for everybody.
So
and now we got
150 years of putting my fingers down here and doing 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's called progress, for God's sakes.
No.
You're the one that's supposed to be for progress. I'm supposed to be the old guy saying, nah. No, it's great.
There's
Push
nothing to change about the game in that part of it.
No, I think this is a good step forward. It makes things better.
Anyway,
you get the sign stealing out of it. I'm for it. Plus, you could put those other things on there. It'd be way more fun. We should be. You know what? Why can't we tap into that on the broadcast? All broadcasts are delayed anyway, so it's not going to be to the you can't cheat on it. So
that's a little too radical for the MLB.
Yeah,
that's a little too radical.
Yeah, but I think it'll be fun for sure. All right, so back to last night's game. Shane McClanahan was great, but he gave up that one shot that was going to cost him. Do we have that one, or are we just doing Ray's highlights today?
I'm done doing A's highlights.
He's done doing A's highlights. I
had my fee. We gave their announce crew enough love yesterday.
That was good though.
We're out.
Yeah. I hope Andy and they weren't upset that we were playing the Dallas Braden one. He just cackled more.
He did.
Gave me more Kamala Harris cackle.
Yeah,
that was better. But I love Dave and Andy. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic job. All right, let's you want to go straight to the big man, to the Choi man. Or you lead me wherever you want to go.
Yeah, we'll play Choi's home run, who I think is one of the only one of two guys in this lineup right now who's actually hitting.
Yeah,
but
how'd Josh Lowe do last night?
He poked one to left.
Yeah,
he poked one to left early.
I like that,
but he looked a little lost the other.
He had a couple of big RBI situations where he did not come through.
No,
and we don't expect him to come through any time. But we asked the question that this is what when I was talking with Orestes the other day. 106 RBIs is not just, in 148 games, by the way. You don't just, that's not easy. It's not easy to do. It's a different mindset when you're the RBI guy. And to ask a rookie to come up and fill those shoes in Josh Lowe, it's tough. It's a tough ask. And last night was a perfect example. He came up in some big situations and did not come through. He will, hopefully soon, he'll get used to it. I'm not writing him off. It's not what I'm saying. But this is what happens when you trade an established player and think somebody's going to come up and just fill in his shoes right away. It's not, this year might be, let's see what happens here. We'll see. And I'm pulling for him, but last night was an example of what you get.
Yeah.
Not to say Austin Meadows would have come through every time, but here's Choi.
Here's G-Man.
Here's G-Man. Give me some G-Man.
That's a shot deep to right.
Listen to that.
Baby's going to get out of here.
Listen to that.
Off the bat. G-Man
Attaboy. Tell me you didn't think, though, late in the game, that Wander Franco, the 2-on, wasn't going to do something special.
I was waiting for it. He swung at the first pitch, high and inside.
Yeah.
Oh. He knew it too.
Yeah.
He knew it.
You know, again, it's baseball. You're not going to do it every time.
It happens, but I think everybody at that.
Oh, we were all like, we got him to the plate. Here it comes. We run Jack, walk off. Here we go.
He's due. He's due for one.
But I mean, he's come up big all year. That's the first time he hasn't.
He's carrying this team on his shoulders, man. Him and G-Man.
All right, so McClanahan goes out after what, 85 pitches?
85 pitches, yeah.
85 pitches. Clearly could. I mean, look, 2 outs. You get the first 2 guys in the fifth. Come on.
Again, it's just not emphasized anymore.
Can we just finish the inning?
5 innings. Just get through 5.
Just finish the inning.
If I'm a pitcher and I'm looking at my line, I'm like 4 2/3. Like 5 just makes
plus,
it.
Plus, look, this stuff matters to these guys. This is why they get paid. They get paid by numbers. All right. And it matters.
Yeah.
And if he gets, goes through 5 and we take the lead, he gets the win.
Yeah. And
that's a big deal.
And he wasn't exactly pleased. I saw he talked to Glasnow at length in the dugout.
Right.
2 guys who wear it on their sleeve. Their emotions, rather. So
this is where, to me, 85 should be a guideline. It should be a guideline. If it goes to 95, his arm is not fall off. And this is the analytic stuff that drives me crazy. Listen, the Rays protect their arms like they're Fort Knox. I get it. But look at the results. The results have been good in terms of the numbers. But you get a lot of guys hurt, and at some point, not going to be able to have that many arms, especially when you gave a few away last year for Nelly Cruz. The arms are going to run out at some point, and then you're going to say, okay, what are we doing here? Listen to Shane McClanahan after the game, after he got his instructions on what to say.
You're awful today.
I know.
You're awful today. Just let the man speak.
Shane, Cash mentioned your stuff was outstanding and maybe the result didn't quite represent the outing. Can you just speak to maybe the 1 inning with the 2 walks and the home run? Maybe that was the frustrating part.
Yeah, felt good today. Felt really good. I think I'd made a lot of good pitches today. I think I made one really bad pitch, and just it's baseball. Sometimes it happens. Back-to-back walks. Don't know what that was. Haven't done that in a while. Hopefully, that we don't see that much of that again. But I think I threw the ball well today, and lots to work on. But there's a lot of good going forward.
I was going to say, what do you kind of take away from an outing like this when you do stuff? Just kind of that one in the game.
It's baseball. This is how it is. Sometimes that ball gets popped up. Sometimes it gets swung through, and sometimes it gets put over the fence. Just got to roll with it and keep moving forward.
Kyle came out after the 2 walks. Was there something he had noticed or anything that he told you about?
Just keep it simple. I got out of a rhythm and got to do a better job of staying in that rhythm, and lost for those last 2 guys or those 2 guys, and found it. Started throwing strikes again, but ultimately made a good swing, and he made the most of my mistakes.
Right. Put yourself in a little bit of a hole with those 2 guys, right? Down 2 out of both of them.
Probably not. Yeah. No.
Looked like you were kind of shaking your head walking off the mound after the 3rd. Is that frustration over the home run, the walks, just the
yeah, it was the right decision to take me out. I kind of put myself in that situation to not be able to give my team the amount of innings I felt like I wanted to give them. So no, it was the right decision. It was just kind of a frustrating day. I thought I threw the ball well, and the results weren't bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. There's no doubt about that. It's not a big deal, but I think you leave him in there to at least one more batter to see if he can finish the 5th. And just, tell him, hey, I'll give you one more, but get him.
It's like confidence in him. You can do this. You can do this. We didn't have to go who'd come out of the pen first last night?
Whistler.
Was it Whistler?
Yeah.
And I'm like, did Whistler really have to come in there?
No. Yeah, and you save him for later. I mean, I hate to second guess Cash, and everybody would tell you do it. Everybody's like, oh, he's the manager. I get it, but I mean, every decision he's making is not right.
Perfect,
right?
There's a problem.
We can refer to some in the past.
I think that's a problem.
But he's a fantastic manager. He's the best. For me, he's the best in the game.
Yeah,
bar none. But not every decision. And by the way, that might not have been his decision.
We don't know. But
85, he's coming out because arm falls off at 86. We have the analytics to prove it.
Apparently.
So, all right, let's hear from Cash. Let's see what Cash has to say about it.
First of all, Shane McClanahan, he was cruising and seemed to be doing pretty well aside from maybe those 2 walks and that home run. I guess what'd you see from him?
I thought he was outstanding. I really did. I mean, it's just the inopportune walk. We can manage walks at times. Ideally, we don't do that, but Shane's working hard to be efficient, get strikes over the plate. They had good at-bats against him, that one clump, but other than that, he was pretty lights out for us. We're just getting beat up a little bit by the 3-run homer right now.
And then Montas obviously was tough tonight. You had Choi with the home run off of him, but I guess just how tough was he out there?
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, it seemed like after the first time through, it felt like he kind of got his off-speed pitches in a spot where he was comfortable throwing them at any point in the count. Very talented pitcher, great stuff, and it felt like he got a little stronger as the game went on.
Shane seemed like his stuff was really good.
He was outstanding. I mean, it's unfortunate because that outing didn't represent how good he was, I think. But you got to give credit. The Oakland put pressure on him to get the 2 walks, and then they come up and hit the 3-run homer. You're facing a guy like Montas that can put you in the hole pretty quick.
Right. It seemed like the only flaw would be he fell behind a lot. I think he was 9 of 19 on first pitch strikes.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. But if that's right, I know that we're constantly stressing to get ahead.
And you probably felt like you had the right guys up there at the end.
Yeah, with Bilal. I mean, look, Frankie got on base there, and Bilal and Wander. And, I mean, what Wander's done, it seems like every time he comes up, he comes through for us.
One of those nights where you felt like you had a lot of guys on, just missing the one hit, maybe a couple guys on, a couple innings.
Yeah, there were a couple
RBI guys,
couple opportunities, but I mean, again, I think you got to look at what the guys that pitched tonight for them. They all featured really good stuff. The Snead that came in, Jackson who was in there, Trevino's done it for a long time now, and it was all started by Montas.
Happy with the length you got from Knight.
Oh, so happy, appreciative, and checked on him. Kyle checked on him after the second inning of work, and just his response was, "I'm good." I felt we had 45 kind of earmarked before the game. Didn't want to take it past that.
Got that earmark. Got that earmark. That 85, that 45. Got that earmark. Look, I get it. You got it. These are well. You've got all these pitch counts, right? And what is the purpose of the pitch counts? To keep your pitchers healthy.
Yep.
How are we doing on that, Mark? Not good.
Not great.
Not
great.
Not great. Not good.
But we talked
not
about
fair,
this,
not average. Awful.
We talked about this last summer when the Rays were having all those issues, and we thought there was something to remember that graphic where the Rays had a pitcher for every spot on the clock.
Yeah.
The arm angle was coming from.
Yeah.
Very unorthodox.
Yes.
And it works.
Right.
It works. But the result was there was a lot of injuries coming out of it. I think Tom Verducci wrote that article.
Yes, he did.
If you recall. I think there might be some truth to that. In general, there's a lot of guys in this league that are just getting hurt now that are pitchers. It's just happening more than ever, I think.
I think we should, if I'll give you a little assignment for tonight. Let's go back to the Smoltz interview, the last 2 we did with him, because he was so good on this topic about, when he was pitching, Leo Mazzoni was their pitching coach. You remember Leo, if you're watching. The guy who used to rock on the bench all the time. And Leo's deal was build up arm strength. It was those guys on their off days, their midweek throwing days when they were right between their starts. They would do long toss. They would throw a lot, and it built up their arm strengths, and they never got hurt. I know it was a different time and a different era. Kids today, by the time they get to the major leagues, they've probably thrown, 20,000 pitches more than maybe Smoltz did. I don't know. But it's just whatever the Rays are doing in terms of the health of their pitchers. Now they're getting good results. There's no question about that. But part of Verducci's issue was, these bullpen guys are getting overtaxed and they're getting hurt. So whatever the pitch, we talk about these pitch counts like they're super successful and we know exactly what we're doing. And the results in terms of injuries are not good. But, in the end, it's about wins and losses, right? And their pitching has been among the best in the league. So in that sense, it's a good thing. But how long will that last if you keep wearing out your players? And do do these young players want to come here and pitch and be overworked and get hurt? I don't think they do. So I'm bringing up these topics just for discussion. I don't know what the right answer is or the wrong answers. And clearly, the Rays have a hell of a lot more information than I do, but we're asking questions here. And we got about 5 minutes before we bring on Chris Torello. Nice time to transition into that conversation. Like, what the Rays are doing, is it good for baseball? Overall, good for baseball. Because in the last 5 years, we've had more strikeouts than hits. It's the first time it's ever happened in baseball, and the Rays have been part of that. The shifts have certainly taken away from baseball in terms of offense. The game has become more stagnant, more relievers, more pitching changes. All these things that the Rays have done have certainly worked for them in terms of regular season wins and winning on a low payroll. But to me, the game of baseball has never been less entertaining. So in the end, is what they're doing good for baseball? Guys like John Smoltz will say, absolutely not. It's not good for baseball. And I think part of it, being a Rays fan, I want to push back on that. I really want to push back on that. And what we've done has been great. Like, we're doing it on a low payroll. But is that the name of the game? Is that the most virtuous thing you can do in baseball? Win on the cheap? Is that great for the game? I'm going to have to say no. It's not great for the game. It's not great for the players. It's overall. Now you see a lot of teams that are going to this. I mean, there are teams now with lower payrolls than the Rays. Shocking development. And Oakland's one of them. They've got a $33 million payroll. That team I've seen the last 3 days, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good for $33 million.
I don't think it's bad for the Rays. It's not bad.
No,
the problem is it's a copycat league, and people are seeing that it works. Clearly, that it works. I mean,
owners are seeing how much money they can make with a low payroll.
Yeah,
and still win.
I mean, look, the Rays since 2008, I think, have the 3rd or 4th most wins in baseball. And think about that. Think about that.
Yeah.
For 15 years, just about 4th most wins in baseball, 2 World Series appearances, and I think the narrative has never changed. Oh, this is a bunch of no-name guys. This is that, which I think is BS. I think if you go up and down the Rays roster, if you're not paying attention to the names of those guys, that's on you.
If you're a baseball fan, you know these guys.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's on you. But
the general public does not.
But when you have like the Jeff Passons of the world and the Ken Rosenthals, who always put this stuff out there, as a Rays fan, I do push back on it. And the way people, traditionalists of the game, and listen, I kind of would say I'm kind of a traditionalist. I
would say you're very much a traditionalist.
I very am.
Of the game, yeah.
But when you start poking the finger at people for finding a different way to win, this is not good for base. I'm sorry. The Rays, because you'd argue they don't have to do it this way. Based on what I've seen, they think they have to do it this way, and I credit them for finding a way to win 100 games a year.
Yeah,
but
they did it once, and they've won 90 games the last 4 years.
Well, yeah. And it's basically been with a nearly identical roster for the most part.
But no World Series.
That's fine. But they're finding a way to win. So I think everybody, it's just jealousy. People go, it's like people from the Northeast, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Mets. Well, we're spending $250 million and it's not working out. That little team is spending $70 million and they're beating us. That's what it reeks of to me.
Yeah, it does. I could not agree more with you. And I've said so as well. And what the Rays are doing is innovative, and it's great for them. And it's certainly great for Stu Sternberg's pocketbook. I mean, but the point is, I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Add a Charlie Morton, keep a Blake Snell, keep it out Austin Meadows. You can't tell me that this is not a better team with those guys on it. And okay, we got prospects back. Well, prospects ain't winning you a World Series, bro. Rays fans are so enamored with their prospects and their minor league system and let's win those Durham championships. Woo! It doesn't transfer to winning World Series. And that's, to me, and I know it's a ridiculous comparison for the Dodgers, but what's happening, everybody in the league is taking our front office guys because they want to know the secret, how to win on the cheap.
Yeah.
And that's more about the owners probably wanting to make money than they are winning World Series, because the Rays haven't won it. So is it a championship formula? Most people would say no, but the Smoltz says it's no. Verducci says it. The experts in the game say no.
How can you? Well, there's a great point of how probably it is good for baseball. Look at the tree that Kevin Cash has branched off, and that Eric Neander has branched off.
Again, is it good for baseball? Baseball's never been less entertaining.
I don't think you could blame the Rays for that. How can you blame the Rays? Because what's the thing that's bad for baseball right now that we keep talking about? There's too many
slow game,
too many strikeouts, too many
walks, inactivity, shifting.
The Rays are the team that you're going to go after that for?
Well, they've kind of been on the forefront of all of it. So let's just blame Joe Madden. No,
but the Rays.
And again, I'm torn because I'm a Rays fan, and I'm with you. I'm like, yeah, screw you guys. We know how to win. Yeah. But I also think that we don't do what's necessary to win a World Series. Let's get Chris Torello's.
I'm sure he's got
opinion on this.
Got to have a strong opinion. On
of course he does. He always has a strong opinion.
I'm not going to challenge him.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, I already texted him to go after you. Are you kidding me? It's the best part of the show. Chris Torello versus Nick Geddes. When we come back, stay with us. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. March Madness has come to the Gold and Diamond Source. Did you know the Aquamarine is the birthstone of the month, and the Emily collection has some great unique pieces. It's designed to be affordable, unique, stylish gold and diamond jewelry. The Julieve collection is Julie and Steve Weintraub's exclusive, one-of-a-kind, award-winning collection of the world's finest diamonds and rare fine gemstone jewelry. Don't forget, they have 0% financing and the Diamond Savings Account, where your diamond never loses its value. You can upgrade it anytime and get 100% of its value towards a new purchase. Do you have any old jewelry, broken jewelry, just lying around? Well, bring it in and get top dollar and get even more value if you use that money to buy something new or just take the cash. Shop. Simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at palermopa.com. Unfortunately, Chris Torello, who joins us now from Spectrum 360, Bay News 9, your nemesis, Nick Geddes, just had to take a phone call from his other employer, Outkick.com, so he will not be here for you to he may come back for the end of the interview so you can smash him like you always do. It's always the highlight of the show, I must say. How are you, partner?
Unless it's Clay Travis, I want him back on the microphone.
It might just be Clay. Clay likes to call him during the show. It's great.
Yeah.
So I was gonna tee this up for later on. So we'll hold it to then. I really enjoyed the Gus Malzahn interview on Spectrum Sports 360 last night, and you did a great job as you always do. By the way, anchoring the show, really enjoy it. So let's start with the Rays last night. Your thoughts on the pulling of Shane McClanahan and the whole thing went down last night.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the one thing I'll say about Shane is that he really is a battler. He's a warrior. Yeah. He's clearly already shown, that I love what Doug Wechter said after the game. He's already developing into an ace of the staff, and that's exactly what they want from him, a hard-throwing lefty. He's going to follow in the footsteps of the Kazmirs, the Prices, the Snells. He will be the best pitcher on this staff. I just think it's, and I understand you got to take things slow. You got to build guys up. Lord knows we saw the Clayton Kershaw disaster. Ugh. But, I think in Shane's case, what I really like about him is that he can get out of situations. The first guy he faced this year, he hit him, and then he gets out of trouble. Garrett Cole, gets upset about a 4-minute delay because of Billy Crystal, and then he gives up 3 runs in the Bronx. So
mentally tough.
Oh God. So yeah. Shane, I think, has the mentality. I think he's definitely got the mentality away from the game in terms of, I think he definitely already is kind of a hardened personality, but that's not a bad thing for pitching. So, I think he'll start to develop the way he and Kevin Cash and Coach Snyder can kind of all come together and say, look, you got to let me blow through the threshold eventually. You got to let me stay out there. You got to let me try and finish this. And especially with the way other arms are going down, I see the side of Cash, but I also see it as if the bull wants to keep throwing, let the bull throw.
Yeah, and especially in that situation, you get 2 outs in the 5th inning. And these numbers matter. It matters when these guys go to arbitration. It matters when they go to free agency. Wins matter. All these numbers matter. And, and plus, keeping Whistler for the next inning might not be a bad idea. So that's where I really kind of bristle is that, okay, you reach the 85 number and he's got to come out. I mean, he can't throw 5 more pitches and get through the inning and be qualified for a win if they do come back in the bottom half. These things matter to pitchers, and it matters for morale. I don't know. And here's the other thing, Chris. If all these pitch counts are working so great for the health of this team, why do we have a record amount of pitchers on the IL last year and it's starting again this year? Whatever we're doing in terms of health ain't working. Now, the results on the field have been pretty damn good, but these guys are going down right and left.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I've said it on here and I've said it elsewhere. It's a great compliment is that, they're like a little league team because they can all move around. They buy in. They just want to have fun. Doesn't matter where they play or how long they play. If they pinch hit, if they're dancing in the closet, like they don't care.
Right.
But just because of that, you don't have to keep it to little league rules. Like, this isn't Williamsport where, we got to take out the best player on the field at 85 pitches because that's the rule.
Right.
I think, again, that's where Shane is going to have to maybe assert himself a little bit more as we go into May and June and the rest of the season, where I think if it becomes a place where Kevin Cash comes over to him and says, hey, I want to pull you, he says, come on, like, give me one more batter. Let me show you. Like, right. And I think, I get it, numbers and everything. But remember, like you said about the injuries, they don't have once, and I talked to Mark Topkin about this once they ratified the CBA. Where's the benefit for the Rays with just 5 options per pitcher or per player? Because last year they were optioning guys left and right. Yeah. And I think they're going to have to be more strategic. They've already gotten Knight up and down. They've gotten Garza up and down. I mean, they're going to find themselves in a tough spot where they're going to have to find their bullpen sooner than later and just stick to those guys because they're not going to have the option ability.
I think it's great points, all. And we were having this discussion before you came on, and I really don't know where I stand on it, to be quite honest, because obviously I'm a huge Rays fan, and I'm really appreciative of the way they win games in the regular season and what they've been able to do on this low payroll. But we've had John Smoltz on this show a couple of times, and he's not a big fan of the way the Rays do business. He doesn't think it's good for baseball, and he thinks it's infected the rest of the game and because they're sending managers and general managers all over baseball. And now this is the way the game is being played. You saw Kershaw come out last night with a perfect game, courtesy of the Dodgers, Dave Roberts, and Andrew Friedman. So is this? I know it's great for the Rays. We're able to win on a low budget, and that's fantastic. But is it overall good for baseball? The game's never been less entertaining, in my opinion, with all the strikeouts and the walks and the inactivity. Your thoughts?
Well, I think first off, imitation is the greatest form of flattery, and that's why the Red Sox went and got Chaim Bloom, who should have had a job before then.
Right.
And again with Andrew Friedman, and then there's guys I think in the front office in Milwaukee and some other places.
Yep.
But the fact that I don't think the Rays blueprint means we're going to cheapen the product. I don't think the Rays blueprint means that you're going to, in a way, lower the payroll. I mean, I'll say this. Hal Steinbrenner, I've sat down with him before, and his mindset is so much different than his father's, where his father would burn the top 5 prospects just to get here at pick the player, Randy Johnson, whoever. He didn't care. He was trying to win a World Series that year. Well, Hal Steinbrenner kind of has the same mentality that I think Stu Sternberg said. He said on opening day, we keep an eye on the present and an eye on the future. And I think that mentality has rubbed off on guys like Steinbrenner, because they look and they say, how the hell are the Rays winning 100 games, winning the American League East, and yet I've got Garrett Cole, I've got Aaron Judge, I've got Giancarlo Stanton, and it's not working. So I think it does kind of tailor to the more, let's look at the numbers. Let's appreciate the island of misfit toys a la Billy Bean and Moneyball. But I think you're still seeing guys like Chaim Bloom and Friedman and them. What it allows them to do is build up the farm system and then go after big free agents because they have the payroll.
Right.
So I think there's a potential to where you could see a lot more Rays model, but in these bigger markets where the budget is already $200 million,
right,
it's going to stay $200 million. So there's good and there's bad. And to the Rays' credit, they're already up to what, $78 to $80 million. And I do believe that if they want to go add a big time closer or they want to go get another bat, they'll do it this season.
Look,
I think they're going to do it. I really do. I think they'll get a closer.
$78 million is still $60 million short of the league average, $65 million short of the league average. So,
but they were at 40 a year.
It doesn't matter where they
not
were.
That long ago, JP.
It doesn't matter
so,
where they were.
I think they've already built it up. They're building it up. They spent $32 million just to get through arbitration. That is the entire A's roster.
So what?
So they are doing it their way, though. No, but I'm not going to fault Eric Neander if he can have, a guy who's playing right field and Josh Lowe not making anything. I mean, I'm not going to knock him for that if he's the right guy.
But do you think if they truly were going to spend big money, like you think they are, and add a big piece that actually makes 10, 15, $20 million, let's say a big a closer or a top of the rotation guy at the deadline, if they're really going to spend that big money, all right, why didn't they get something better for Austin Meadows? You know damn well that if Neander was allowed to add significant payroll, they could have found a pitcher or somebody that wanted an all-star 100 RBI guy besides a top prospect. I'm sorry that you can't.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Come on,
true,
man.
Unfortunately,
So you're telling me the best deal that they could get was a guy in the minor league or an all-star outfielder. Come on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, first off, if you watched the game yesterday between the Red Sox and the Tigers, Austin Meadows is no all-star outfielder. That man couldn't find the left field wall to save his life.
All-star hitter.
So if you'd like to defend him, I will gladly
106
play
RBIs
that on a loop over your show. He's not even I don't think he's a proven all-star hitter. I think he's a good hitter. I don't know if he's well, here's the thing. In 10 years, are you going to be happier that you had Josh Lowe or Austin Meadows?
That's not the choice. That's not the choice. The choice is
well, you
Austin
don't want
Meadows
it to be the
and
choice.
Paredes. That's the choice.
Okay, that's fine. But my point is, if you're arguing Austin Meadows or Josh Blow, we're arguing over maybe $4 million, and that's not a lot of money to be arguing over.
No.
This was not a salary dump.
No.
And I do agree with you. I think Neander at the start of spring was trying to get rid of Meadows or KK at a higher price.
Yeah.
Obviously, KK is not going to be moved. That's significant. But I think it came down to they tried to play chicken with a couple teams, and in the final week, it came down to Erik Neander went to Austin and said, look, man, I'm not going to get the return I want for you. I don't want you to be insulted by that. We're not getting the return, but here are a few options. Where would you like to go? And I think it worked out where he was like, hey, I'll go play with my brother. If I have a chance to maybe play one day with my brother in Detroit, I'll do that. And I think, look, Neander says they got a guy back that they like, somebody who can come in and, come up. And I mean, how many times has Erik Neander been wrong about a trade or been wrong about letting Corey Dickerson walk or letting some of these other guys not come back? I mean, they've done it time and time again where they've, we're like, wait a minute, you just let, I mean, who was the big first baseman they had a few years ago? He was crushing the ball and they let him go. And he goes off to, and he didn't do anything after that. So they've done it a few times. I just think until a trade goes wrong, you really have to kind of side with Erik Neander. But I do agree with you.
The
Go
Nelly
after
Cruz
a
thing
big,
didn't
go
work
after
out.
a big spender. Prove it to us.
Yeah, and this is the thing about the Meadows thing being a salary dump. It's not a salary dump in terms of the $4 million. Where the Rays save big money is bringing in a good prospect. That keeps
it resets.
It reset. And that's why I'm saying if you're really going for it, you're really going to spend money, you go get a major leaguer with a significant salary that you could have traded for. I mean, look, I hate this role because, I know he's damaged goods, but he might, if he shows his, form of the beginning of last year where he's 0.49 ERA with the Cubs, then he would have been a great piece to go after. But I just think there was another that's where they save the big money. It's not the $4 million. It's the 10, 15, 20 million that they would have to pay for a legit major league arm. And let's be honest, wouldn't you like to have a legit 1 or 2 starter in this rotation right now with all these injuries?
I would like to have a compliment to I think Corey Kluber is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be a decent 3. I like Rasmussen. I like what he's doing. But I think, and look, who knows? Look, we'll all have to wait and see because I believe once we get to the All-Star break, they like to do their business 10, 12 days before the actual deadline.
Mm-hmm.
If we're sitting here and we're hearing, maybe a guy like Kimball, or maybe they're in on another hitter. I mean, who knows? They've done it. And I just think that they know how to do things. And I do believe that their eye is on the prize. And if they're within striking distance, they have the American League East lead at the end of July. They're going to try and figure out a way to put this thing away in August. I think everyone else is catching up to the Rays in the American League East, except maybe Toronto. But when you have the Red Sox and the Yankees playing desperate on their heels, that is something that has never happened.
Yeah,
and the Rays are taking everybody to school. So I just think we have to sit back. I get it. But we're getting to a point where we can actually dissect some of these moves and actually want better.
Exactly.
If you're a Rays fan, that is a huge step, and that is something you haven't been able to do.
And that's where I'm at. Don't get me wrong. I've been a huge cheerleader for this team. What they've done is one of the greatest stories in sports, quite frankly, what they've done on the field with the payroll. It's unbelievable. But I'm wanting them to take that next step, and to me, I want to see $100 million payroll in 115, 120, see what it gets us. This gets us over the top. Keep it Charlie Morton, keep it Blake Snell. That to me is that was the key linchpin to that World Series team. I don't think you dismantle the team that goes to the World Series. So
I think Charlie Morton's the mistake so far.
Yeah.
Charlie Morton's the mistake. I don't think Blake Snell was a mistake. I won't say that. I don't think getting rid of him was the biggest mistake in the world. You know why? Because he also had and look, you know it from being in that clubhouse in the past. You know it from the David Price era, the Chris Archer era. No. Those guys rub off on the next great pitcher, and that attitude hardens. It's what I was just talking about with Shane McClanahan. I feel like these guys who become the number one or have the potential, they start hardening whenever a microphone gets in their face, or they start having an attitude, and it's like, why? We're not trying to do anything except talk to you. We're not trying to do anything but talk to you. We're not your enemy. we're just there to talk. And I think Blake Snell had that rubbed off on him. I'm not saying Blake's a bad person. He's a good dude. He's a great pitcher, but it's just like, I feel like there's this kind of aura that goes over some of these guys. And it's like, where did you get this mentality? Where did you get this information about the media or about the way we're going to perceive you?
Is it possible that they're just pissed off because they want to pitch more and this organization doesn't allow them to, and they have to say things that the organization is telling them to say to the media when they really don't believe it? Maybe that's why they seem so surly with the media, because I don't blame them, And
first day of spring, JP, you go down and you say, how was the winter? And they basically brush you off. Come on. Like that's not, I don't think I did anything to you, between the winter,
He didn't get pulled early in that game. We just got here.
Man.
Hey, real quick on USF. Looks like the stadium's coming more to fruition. And did I'm sure you caught the spring game. Your thoughts?
Yeah. It was good. I like the way Travis Marsh threw the ball. But one thing that I think people need to keep in perspective about Timmy McClain was they really didn't have like all their guys out there on the offensive line. They had guys resting. They had guys who were a little dinged up. So I think they've got the pieces. They've got so much talent in the running back room. It's scary. They've got the wide receivers and the tight ends who can, kind of go out and play as that third receiver inside. So I think they've got the pieces. It really is going to come down to who has it in between the ears on the quarterback position. And hopefully it's Timmy McClain, because I think he has the most upside of this season and next season. I like Byron Brown. He's going to be really good for them if he gets his opportunity in the future. But the most fun for me was the flag football game at halftime. All the alums, Matt Grothe, BJ Daniels, Vincent Jackson Jr. I talked to George Selvey and Andre Davis, and they all said Jeff Scott believes in them. Jeff Scott wants them back around this program.
Nice.
Jeff Scott organized this. And one player told me off camera, he said, this guy gives a damn about us.
Nice.
And that to me is the biggest win of the night. I actually have a feature running tomorrow night on Spectrum Sports 360. We go kind of inside the details of how important it was, those 20 minutes in between the halves of that flag football game, how important that was to the future of this program.
That's awesome, man. And I agree with it. They got to get JPP back in the fold. For some reason, he's soured.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I
don't
know
why.
If he did.
Do you know why he's soured on them? I'm sure it was past regime something.
He was out there with Jeff Scott a few times.
Yeah.
I think it was more just, he was only here for a year.
Yeah.
He wasn't, it's not like, and I get it, but when he won the Super Bowl, he was screaming on that podium that he went to USF. He loves Tampa. So, I'm sure he was a little inebriated, but that's okay. That's when the truth comes out.
Right,
so, I think they're working on it. They're working really hard. I give credit to Scott and Michael Kelly. They got the Caravan next week in Tampa. People should go to that. I think tickets are $15 or $5 for kids. So I know I'm going to be out there talking to people about the stadium. I'm trying to work on Will Weatherford, getting him on my podcast and really trying to pump this up. But I can't wait. The IPF is going to be gorgeous by August. And, I'm excited for this team. I'll see if it leads to more wins. If they can get close to bowl eligibility, it'll be a good season.
Yeah, all that stuff is exciting, and I've always been very much poo-pooed the on-campus stadium. I thought it was a waste of money. Just they needed to put it into the other facilities, but they've taken care of those other facilities now. So the stadium is the next step. You can't deny what it's done for UCF, even though it's a crappy erector set stadium. This one's going to be a real stadium.
They put it up though.
They did
put it up though.
They did. So and it ain't my money. So whatever. Get yourself an on-campus stadium. There's no doubt it will help. It can't hurt. That's for damn sure. Can't get any worse in terms of attendance. So I'm all for it. All right, pimp your podcast and everything else you guys got going on Spectrum Sports 360.
Yeah, no, just some great stuff going on our website, BayNews9.com. And, it's not just me, it's my colleagues, great stories. Mike Cairns had a really cool story on Caden McDonald. He's a big hitter for Sickles. He's one of the best in the nation.
Last night.
So,
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that one last night. That one was really well done with him and our photographer, Adam Vance, did a great job. So go check those stories out. Catherine Smith, always doing stuff in the community. She actually has a really cool story on the Yankees minor league excuse me, the female manager.
Yes.
She's been following her around for a few days and really going, in depth. It's one thing just to get a sound bite or some B-roll. It's another when we take the time to put together a 3-minute feature on these people. So that's what separates us from everyone else. There's great people in this market. They do it their way, but I think we do it a little differently.
No, I 100% agree. It's not about, the other guys are doing a great job, but they're limited in what they can get on the air, because they're in these, what you guys are doing is like the schools, good 3-4 minute. People love that stuff. Don't, whoever your bosses are, tell them to keep it up, and they're allowing you guys to do it. It's a lost art, and y'all do a hell of a job. So keep it up. We love it. So check out the website. You can always see the stories there if you don't catch it on Spectrum Sports 360. So thank you, Chris Torello. Nick's back if you want to rip him on something.
Oh, I'm sure. Did your phone call end just now, Nick? Oh, that's wonderful. Look at you timing it out. It's almost like you had one ear on me. Oh, that's lovely, Nick. Hey, Nick, you guys have your spring game this weekend. You going to it?
No, I will not be there.
No, sorry.
Gus did a nice interview last night.
Are they putting up a banner this weekend, Nick? Are they putting anything up there this weekend?
I think it's scheduled. I think it's scheduled right before pregame festivities, fireworks, the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards.
Oh wow, they do it before that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's
you can hang a banner before the season.
So. Hey, they've already got one pre-made. They've already got a state champ pre-made one. You already know.
Nick, really quick. Do you feel the Big 12 is going to survive? Because I'm hearing a lot more about how that's in a dire situation.
They let UCF in. I don't know to tell you where they're at this point.
Situation, but what happens when USF, who's close to AAU, gets AAU, and then Michigan flies down on a private jet to Tampa and says, "Hey, we want you in the Big Ten"? What happens then?
Ooh. Malzahn said last night
he's
going to win a national championship at UCF.
He said they're going to be Cincinnati this year. The problem is, and Nick knows this, it can't just be 1 year resume. You have to go undefeated for a year, and they did it with Milton, and then you got to go undefeated again. That's the unfortunate disadvantage to what UCF, who should have been in 2017 despite playing nobody. And then 2018, and the problem is for guys like UCF, LSU, Auburn, it's fun to beat those teams or beat Florida at the Gasparilla Bowl, but at the end of the day, what does that really mean when Florida, Auburn, and LSU, those guys are full of a roster? You can already put like $60 million attached to the roster. UCF will never have that, unfortunately. No, I'm saying that's True. The end goal for these programs, but for UCF, it is truly for love of the game. And there's the Gabe Davises and some of these other guys, but it's always going to mean more to teams like UCF. And that's cool. I'll say that legitimately.
Yeah. No response.
I was gonna.
Get the hell out of here.
I was gonna tell him. I was gonna tell him, as much as I may put on a show here just for Chris's sake, because he goes after the UCF fans. I actually agree with Chris most of the time when he goes after the UCF fans.
Truth is truth.
I don't go after them.
They go after him.
You speak the truth though, because there are delusional. There are delusional UCF fans out there. They're delusional.
Yeah.
You know that.
Well, no. Listen, there's a reason that fan is short for fanatic. You have to be blind delusion. I think if USF fans took a page out of UCF's book and just were all in no matter what and would curse anybody, that's a good thing, because you need loyal soldiers. You need people that are going to go run through that wall who want to be on that wall. So, that's what you need. And look, even if that wall falls down because it's not a very sturdy wall,
right?
Then, like a
direct set wall.
It'll be fine. So, no, it's cool. You guys can move the parts around during the game. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's like a Hot Wheels set. So,
that just fall right into the lazy river outside. It's perfect. All right, my friend.
Yeah, that's what I hope they fall. Yeah.
We'll be watching Spectrum Sports C60. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. The great Chris Torello. The great Chris Torello. It's my favorite part of the show when he comes on.
I really
you got to stop agreeing with him though. That's not good for radio, man.
You want me to be honest? Or you want me to play the part?
Play the part.
I know you'd rather have me play the part, but I can't stand it. He makes great points.
No, you can't be inauthentic. People understand that, and so that's good. We just got to get something you guys disagree on. That's all. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back for our second hour. We're going to do some college football updates on that. FSU might be getting a huge, and I mean big, 5-star transfer from Georgia. JT Daniels is moving again, so we'll do some college football check-in. I got a good NBA story for you, too, I got to get to. Yeah, it's funny stuff. It's good stuff. And we'll do some lightning as well, as Dave Michigan's going to join us at 11:35. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right. Second hour coming up, brought to you by the Bay Area Modern Medicine Center, BAMMC.com. Christopher Lugo and his medical team will take care of you. You're looking for a new primary care physician. That is the way to go. He works with the military. Just got a prestigious military appointment as one of their medical consultants. Works with some of our top pilots as well, and he can work with you. Real easy. Just go to BAMMC.com. They will spend 45 minutes to an hour with you on your first visit. Make sure that they're taking care of you personally, get you a personal diet, personal exercise routine, look at everything you're doing from medications to diet, and get you on the right track. So if you need some help losing weight, testosterone replacement, that is the way to go. BAMMC.com. They're taking new patients. A lot of places are not, but you can do it there. BAMMC.com. Change your primary care physician. Get a different spin on your health and get healthier as we go through to summer season. Bathing suit season is coming up. So if you want to drop a few pounds, and who doesn't, they can help you over there at BAMMC.com. Get to some quirky stories here today. We got Dave Mission coming up at 11:35, so we'll talk some lightning there. Not a whole lot going on with the Bucks today. There are a couple more players will be coming out doing some interviews, I believe, today. So we'll get you some of that. Baker Mayfield, did you see what he said yesterday? He did a little interview where he's sitting on the couch. I didn't see who the interview was with. He's sitting on the couch with his dog, and basically saying he got disrespected by the Cleveland Browns for them bringing in Deshaun Watson. You got all right, this. I love the Tally Wonder Dog just laying upside down on the couch like she does here every day. People loved that. Was the best part of it. People loved it. But here's what he said.
Right now is like, I really, truly, honestly have no regrets of my time in Cleveland, of what I tried to give to that place.
Right.
And true Clevelanders and true Brown fans know that. And that's why I can walk away from the whole situation and like I did it.
And now do you feel like the way the office has handled it has been disrespectful to you, given where you came in and where they are now? And
I mean, yeah, the respect thing is like it's all going to be like a personal opinion.
Yeah,
like,
and
I feel disrespected 100% because I was told one thing and they completely did another. That's what I'm in the middle of right now. And you know what? Okay, I got my taste of it because I've had 4 different head coaches in 4 years, a bunch of different coordinators. I've had talk about the highs. They always come back.
Mm-hmm.
They always come back.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I had great times my rookie. Like I didn't start in the beginning. I came in and got to have fun back half of the year. 2019 sucked. 2020 was great. Made the playoffs. 2021 was miserable. It's like,
yeah,
I'm just looking for stabilization right now. And like, I know what I need to do for me to be the best version of me and to be able to lead an organization. And like, I'm in a good place right now.
Right.
Where like, I have no clue where I'm going.
Interesting. He did talk about going to Seattle, maybe, or
he mentioned that Indianapolis was, he thought, the best fit until they got Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean,
the one thing he said, it wasn't on there, was like, man, I would love to go to someone's cubicle and boo them while they're doing their work
and watch them crumble.
You know what? Come to my cubicle and yell at me and hand me your paycheck, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine. You can yell at me all you want, bro. Just hand me that $20 million paycheck and boo and scream and do whatever you want, and I'll just laugh all the way to the bank, like you're doing.
Yeah, he's honest. He's always going to tell you.
That.
He's always going to be honest. I don't always agree with what comes out of his mouth, though. And again, I wish Baker, at this point in his career, 4 years in, going on a 5th year, you have no leverage right now.
Zero.
You have zero leverage. How can you feel disrespected? This is a problem, I think, in sports. And it's just, what do you mean you feel disrespected? You weren't getting the job done. I just, despite the Deshaun Watson, whatever's going on there, we still remains to be seen what's going to happen with the legal situation. From a talent perspective, you're not in his class. That's how this business works. And how many times have we talked about the importance of the quarterback position? If you don't have an elite quarterback, you ain't doing anything. Sorry, Baker.
And you got to be the leader, man.
You got to be a leader.
You got to be above the fray. And here's the other thing. Deshaun Watson coming in there, and by all accounts, he's going to be suspended for what, the first 6 games?
Yeah,
the first 8 games.
If he's still there, you're going to have an opportunity to maybe show off for some other teams.
Why don't you concentrate on balling out and going out there the first 6-8 games and say, come take my job, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I
Come
don't
take my job. Now, listen, I understand. They paid him $240 million, $340 million guarantee, whatever the hell it is. He's going to be the starting quarterback. I get it. But you got to know where you're at, man. You got to know where your position is.
Yeah.
And you got to understand that. And listen, I think Baker has given everything he has to this team. But it's this type of, entitlement. But disrespect, what are you talking about, bro? Your paycheck is your respect. And you get paid handsomely to do what you do, to play football. I don't care if you're insulted. You got to be mentally tough. Deshaun Watson's a better quarterback than you. That's all there is to it. If they bring in somebody that's better than you, you just go to the next spot and say, hey, you know what? They brought in Deshaun. What did Jameis Winston say when they came in with Tom Brady? Did he go, oh, I feel disrespected by the organization? I don't think he did. Maybe he did. I don't think he said that. He said, well, basically it took Tom Brady to take my spot. I mean, he's the GOAT. How do you get upset if they can go out and get Tom Brady and don't bring you back? Should you be insulted? No, you should not be insulted. They went out and got Deshaun Watson. He's a better quarterback than you by every measure. So you just simply say, you know what? Cleveland wanted to go in a different direction. I'm ready for the next spot. I don't feel disrespected at all. They did tell me one thing and do another, but that's not cool. But I think disrespect is just the wrong word to use there. It's just the wrong word.
I think that good example. Derek Carr yesterday got a fat contract, right?
Yes.
If you want to talk about if the Raiders had gone out this offseason, there were rumors that they ended up trading Derek Carr and they brought in a different quarterback. If Derek Carr wanted to say, I feel disrespected, I would totally agree with him. Because I feel like his play is backed up and he's had a less than uneasy situation there in Las Vegas. Would you agree?
Yes.
I would agree with that if Derek Carr says that.
There are many times he could have said, this organization's a dumpster fire. Get me the hell out of here.
And he never did.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Baker was set up for success necessarily. I mean, he pointed it out there. 3 different head coaches, 4 offensive coordinators. You started with the Hugh Jackson. You were the first overall pick, and you were sitting behind Tyrod Taylor. I get all that. And Odell Beckham Jr. kind of basically said, you're trash, and this is why I'm leaving. I get that. He hasn't gotten the best hand, and I do feel like he's given the best to the city. But to say you feel disrespected, at some point, we have to judge you on your play.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. It's a business. And your play is just not good enough.
Nope, it's not.
And there's a reason why these other teams aren't going after you right now.
And that said, if I'm Seattle, I got to go get Baker Mayfield.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean,
here's
who you got?
Russell Wilson is one of the biggest grown-ups in this league.
Yeah.
I don't see how in the world Pete Carroll and John Schneider and that whole regime that has been with Russell Wilson for a decade goes, I'm going to take Baker Mayfield, not knowing what it's going to come out of his mouth every time he speaks. Whereas Russell Wilson, it's simple. Go Hawks, baby.
Yeah.
And we're moving on.
Yeah.
I don't know how you go to that extreme. And that may be one of the reasons why he's just not a good fit over there in Seattle.
I think he's a good enough player to be in Seattle, to be their starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. But the baggage that he brings, I think, is a very good point. And that's part of the game. It's part of the game. And everything you do and everything you say, unfortunately, these days, I think a lot of it is overblown. Like, the Tony Dungy situation the other day, even the Cam Newton situation. What he said was chauvinistic, misogynistic, and stupid. But there are people who say, oh, you should never be able to play quarterback in the NFL. Since when does your personal opinion about your culture, what your culture was, and you grew up and what you prefer in a woman, how does that discount you from playing in the NFL? I mean, there may be some organizations that say, you know what, we really value women, are women fans, and it's just not a good fit for us. I kind of get that a little bit, but I don't think if you're having an opinion, it should cancel you out from doing what your job is. I guess organizations can make choices, I guess, and that's okay. But I'm not a huge fan of the big cancel culture. It's more like, to me, you know what, you're a misogynist, you're an idiot. Good for you. But I'm not canceling him from playing football.
But then again, but I can't sit up here and in good faith tell you what Cam Newton said is right.
Oh, it's not right. It's not right.
That's my thing.
That's what I'm saying. I totally disagree with it.
That's not something I'm putting out there.
Disagree with people's opinion. Do they have to be canceled?
Some opinions.
Can't we just say
I do agree
knucklehead?
to an extent, yes, but you have to. Some opinions are just, you can't put those out there. You have to be. You have to walk a tight line, right? You can't just think you can say whatever you want and get away with it. That's part of a thing too. That's an issue.
I think obviously there's some things that you can say that we're going to get you fired. I get that. We've seen instances of that, but far too many instances. I think, the mob gets up in arms over stuff that is not that, it's not that over the line. You can have an opinion on what Cam said. I think he sounds like an idiot, but it is what it is. Some college football stuff. Also, I want to mention the Lamar Jackson story. He still does not have a contract extension. He's going to go out and play 2022 at this point without a contract extension. I know your mom's your agent, but that is not good advice, bro. You're sitting on at least $250 million guaranteed. Go get your bag, bro. You don't have to crush the Ravens and their cap number. You can do, you don't have to take the biggest deal ever, but you got to get guaranteed money. You got to secure your family's future. It's right there for you. Harbaugh's come out and said, we're doing it on Lamar's time.
Pay the guys, man.
I mean, come on.
What are we waiting for?
If he had an agent, he would be busting your balls. And so just because he doesn't have an agent and he's not holding a knife to your throat, don't take advantage of him. Okay? Go do the right thing, Baltimore, and pay the man and get him his guaranteed money. I'm not saying you have to do what they did for Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that, but pay him a reasonable salary for what he's given you. He's played on the cheap and won an MVP. Pay the man. Do the right thing. Even why is it so hard for people to do the right thing? You know what the right thing to do is here, Baltimore, and do it. Don't wait for his time. Say, okay, this is what Deshaun got. We're going to offer you something that go to him and say, look, I know you're all about team. All right. So we're going to give you a contract that's going to secure your future you'll have more money than you'll ever have in your lifetime or need in your lifetime. And we're going to do the right thing now, but we also want to keep this competitive. So we don't want to pay you $50 million like some of these other quarterbacks are making, because it's just going to price us out from getting you players that you need to win. But we're going to get close. We're going to give you 40. And I think Lamar is all in on that. I think he's way better doing the Tom Brady thing than the Aaron Rodgers thing. So I think you would get a definite discount if he had a top-notch agent, and you would get the deal done, and you guarantee him $230 million. That's a fair deal, and it's a competitive deal, especially with the cap going up. And I think Lamar Jackson would say, "Okay, let's do it." And both sides win. Yeah. But what John Harbaugh said, no good.
No, and I think John Harbaugh is a throwback guy. He's a defensive guy, special teamer. I don't know how much emphasis he's placed on that position in the money standpoint, really. And that might be hard for him to wrap his head around. I had to imagine for somebody like that. But
times are changing.
It's either get with the program or get left behind.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's like kind of how with Arizona with Kyler Murray. Do I think Kyler Murray has deficiencies to his game? Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. Do I think Lamar Jackson has deficiencies to his game? Yes, I do. With that being said, I say it all the time about the left tackle position. I say it about the quarterback position. I'd rather not be looking for those positions.
Right.
I'd rather not. And Lamar Jackson's a top 10 talent in this position who has won an MVP award, who has proven that he is able to play his style so far and get away with it. I think he needs to change that in the playoffs, maybe. That's another discussion for another day. Mm-hmm. But still, he has definitely earned at least $40 million. I mean, I love Derek Carr to all the way to back, but I mean, he just got $40 million yesterday.
Yeah.
And who's going to tell you that Derek Carr is better than Lamar Jackson?
Nobody.
It's that simple. So what are we talking about then?
And Lamar is the ultimate team player. He's the ultimate
he's a
team
model
player.
Citizen, great team player.
As good a young man as you'll find.
I love his story.
Unbelievable leader.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not the best thrower of the football. I get it. He's pretty damn good. He's a pretty damn good thrower of the football. He's not Aaron Rodgers. Not many people are, but Aaron doesn't run like Lamar.
In the games that
Aaron's
missed
not
last
half
year,
the leader that Lamar is, by the way.
Yeah.
Not even close. Not even in the same class.
Not even close. And look at how the Ravens did last year without him. And people were saying, well, Tyler Huntley did okay, but you didn't win the games.
No.
You didn't win the games. And if you're going to have this discussion about Tyler Huntley and Lamar Jackson, save it, please.
And that's why it's just like Baltimore, do the right thing.
Just do the right thing.
Do the right thing. If he had an agent, you wouldn't even be sniffing this dude right now. He wouldn't be showing up until 4 games into the season. So do the right thing. You're going to have to pay him eventually. So just come out, be proactive. Why is that so hard to do? It's ridiculous. All right, some college football stuff. This from warchant.com. Former 5-star recruit in Georgia offensive lineman Marius Mims intends to sign with Florida State. He's a big old boy. Huge offensive tackle. Huge 5-star recruit. That's huge for Florida State. That resets their offensive line like Jermaine Johnson reset their defensive line last year. What's this pipeline we got coming from Georgia?
Well, it's not done yet. I'm not going to get overzealous.
There's people say that it's not done yet. But
He did tell them last night after these reports came out. He hasn't made a decision yet. I think he still has to go visit Miami, if I'm not mistaken.
Right row.
Yeah.
Right row. So take them to their beautiful stadium 30 miles away. It has about 6 people in it every game.
That'll get them there.
Yeah.
But you have to, but still, I mean.
Luther Campbell's not recruiting for them anymore, is he?
I don't know. Did Cristobal play during that era?
I think he did.
He did.
He's bringing
Bring
it back to, what was the name of that nightclub?
I have
no idea. Across the street from the campus?
That's before my time.
Luther Campbell, they used to bring everybody over there. Somebody on Twitter helped me out. What's the name of that place? Anyway. Well, we'll see. Hey, listen, there's going to be competition. Got to go, but you don't want to lose them to Miami.
Oh, that would be a killer. That would be after what's been a less than ideal offseason, better one than the one prior. Not as it could have been. If you lose this guy to Miami,
they need to have these big things happen. This is how these are program makers. You got to get these 5 stars. You got to land them. They had Travis Hunter forever, and then they didn't. That's a whiff. That's a big miss. He may one day matriculate to FSU. You never know when Dion becomes the head coach. But you never know. JT Daniels is transferring to West Virginia from Georgia. Wow, who had that? Who
wasn't on my bingo board?
JT Daniels losing the battle. What's his name? Their quarterback is so unassuming. I forgot Stetson Bennett. Who had that? They walk on beating out the 5-star superstar in JT Daniels and sending him packing. I think Stetson Bennett obviously did a great job in winning the national championship, but that defense, I think we're going to see about 7 of these guys become legit big-time NFL players. Lewis Cine may be one of them coming to the Buccaneers.
In Tampa Bay, Red Imputer. The guy, Trayvon Walker, was like the 8th most impressive guy on the defense last year.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's going to be a top 5 pick. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. How you watched everybody on that Georgia defensive line. And that's the one we're going with. Yeah. But I think Devontae Wyatt more so than Jordan Davis. If he's at 27 for the Bucs, Devontae Wyatt, I think they're running. Running with the card.
What if Jordan Davis is still there?
I don't think you do it.
He's Vita Vea.
He's not a pass rusher.
No, he's Vita Vea. They got a Vita Vea.
They need athleticism and somebody who can get to the passer. Devontae Wyatt did that.
You see him throw out the first pitch last night?
Yeah, he's a big boy.
But he's athletic.
He's very athletic. Don't get me wrong. But
I still love the story of his mom dropping him off at football practice and leaving him just driving off because he didn't want to play football. Now look what he's got. That's such a great lesson to parents. Sometimes it's a fine line between pushing your kids and being overbearing. But I think in that, God bless his mother. She had some great instincts on that. And it didn't go well for the first few weeks of football practice. But once he kind of gutted it out for a while, it's become an incredible future for that young man. It's a great, great story. Love that story. All right, let's take a break. And you know what? Actually, let's go a little bit further. Oh, we got him at 11:35. So, let's hit a break right now, and we'll come back. We'll get a couple of other things in. I wanted to hit on Tiger has announced he's playing in another event. So that's good news. We'll tell you about that. And we're going to get a little NBA in. It is playoff time. So there's a couple of things I wanted to touch on. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco was starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Dave Michigan coming up at 11:35. So we've got a couple minutes to hit a couple of other stories here. Wanted to get to. They retrieved the ball, the Brett Phillips ball, up on the C ring. This what we're calling the C for Chloe ring now. We need to put a sign up there, fighting for Chloe or something. C for Chloe ring where the ball landed, and just a little banner up there that kind of lives there forever. That would give you good karma. Be really, really good karma. Be great for her to come to the game and see it every game. As she battles cancer for the second time. She's got thyroid cancer now, which, according to some of the reports, it's a surgical thing. She's going to have surgery, but it's a pretty good prognosis if they get it all, that she can recover from that. So that's good. That's really good news, and hopefully she can. And, the whole story was just tremendous how it went viral on ESPN multiple times, and I think they said 5 or 6 times it was Brett Phillips' first career home run. It was not. But it was the longest home run of his career, which was good. So the Brett Phillips donated $1,000 to her fund, which had a goal of $25,000. Hopefully we go way over that mark. The Rays matched it for $1,000. I'm sure we'll get to that goal. I went on yesterday to do mine and got distracted. I'm being perfectly honest, so we'll do it later today. But just you can find it anywhere. It's on the Rays Twitter, everybody's Twitter. It's the GoFundMe for Chloe. I retweeted it yesterday, so go on there and give what you can give and help her out a little bit. So it appears that Zion Williamson is now dunking again. Did a 360 in practice yesterday, although he is not slated to play in these playoffs. If the Pelicans won last night, now they'll move on, and I believe they're going to face the Suns. They're going to win one more and then face the Suns. And there was talk that he might be able to come back and play, but I think some of the organization is certainly shutting down that talk. It seems like everybody wants to see it happen, but they're going to get their ass kicked by the Suns. They're not going anywhere this year. I think it might be foolhardy, but it just kind of, begs the question, dude. It's like,
get out there.
Yeah, it's like if you can do that, you can play a little bit. You don't have to be Zion, but I guess there's risk of injury. It's like everything is like, ooh, there's a risk. We don't want to take the risk. We might get hurt. He might, you know what? He might not.
Are we trying to win championships?
Yeah, he might go out there and ball out. You know,
someone explain that to me.
We haven't even really talked about the Clayton Kershaw thing. Like, you know, he might go out. He might go out and throw a perfect game and make baseball history and something people really want to see. And his arm might not fall off if you just let him go past 80 pitches. I mean, we're robbing the fans of what could be his. Imagine if you're at the game and you're watching Clayton Kershaw pitch a perfect game, and here comes Dave Roberts. I mean, that's just crazy. We don't even think of that part of it. You know, it's like, you know, life is about taking risks, and you get into, you know, if you want to sit in your glass bubble your entire life, go ahead. And so much is like the NBA. All these different leagues, it's like, oh, you know, we got to load manage. We can't let this guy do that. We can't. Ben Simmons looks, you know, he's out there in warmups doing his thing, and this guy hasn't played in a year. I mean, unbelievable. He hasn't played in a year, but they're thinking he might come back, probably be a liability. Let's just be honest. As Tim Legler said today, if I'm the Celtics and the Celtics play the Nets, if I'm the Celtics, that kid gets on the floor, I'm freaking fouling him every time. I'd rather send him to the line with all the fans yelling he can't make a free throw than have the ball in Durant or Kyrie Irving's hands, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
Who's first overall pick in the draft. He can't, and he's a liability on the floor.
He's already proven to me that his mentally he doesn't have it.
Yeah,
not saying mental health. That's not what I mean. I know he says he has mental health issues. I'm not getting into that because we have no idea what's going on with that. I mean, mentally, his capacity on the floor, I don't think he's there. I don't think he has it. I mean, he ran himself out of Philly because Doc Rivers said he needed to play better.
Yeah, because you're passing up a layup in crunch time, for God's sakes.
I have
Can you
no
imagine
idea.
being Doc Rivers, who has, you know, who had probably one, you know, half the athletic talent and gifts that Ben Simmons has, and had such an unbelievable career, and he watches a guy do that in crunch time? I mean, my God.
Yeah, it's like I don't think they're asking him to turn into a three-point artist and just throw up 10 threes a game. I don't think that's what they're asking. But it's like, dude, I think he's
he can't make a free throw, bro.
And here's the thing, though.
Which is a learned technique skill.
And here's the thing, though. I think he's a really good slasher when he wants to.
Right.
When he wants to.
Oh, my God.
I mean, look at the guy. I've always said he averages 17, 18 a game, and all he's doing is scoring literally inside the little paint area. Imagine if he just did that more often.
Yeah.
That's all they're asking for you. That's it, because he's one of the best passers in the game, one of the best rebounders, great defender.
I mean, but that's about all you were going to get out of him in the playoffs is bring him in to shut down Jason Tatum or somebody.
But yeah, if they're playing Boston in the first, I don't know if you put him in that matchup. That's a disaster.
And imagine that. He's the first overall pick in the draft. He's making $40 million a year, and you can't even put him in the game. I mean, Zion Williamson, he could do a 360 dunk, but you can't put him into the game for 5 minutes to get you a couple buckets. I mean, like, what are we doing here? It's basketball, for God's sakes.
Yeah, and the Nets without him, it's like, you think they're going to beat the Celtics? It's like, you can't count out Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, but the Celtics have been like the hottest team in the entire league the second half. You think they really got a shot?
Yeah. Well, no, the Celtics have a shot.
The Celtics have a shot, but like they could use Ben Simmons, I think, out there.
Especially to defend, since they're the worst defensive team in the playoffs.
Yeah, I even said,
Nets.
like, despite his deficiencies, I thought the trade for the Nets, if he ever got back on the court, I'd love to see it because I thought he was what they were needing. Defense, a guy who could pass.
How about this? If I'm the Nets, I'm like, hey, get your ass out there and play your ass off. I don't care about your mental, whatever issues you got going on in your head. All I want you to do is go out there and ball out defense. Ask you to win the freaking championship for us.
They just need a little help.
Yeah.
Just help.
Just get out. I mean, golly, it's crazy. All right, before we break, it's the biggest story on Twitter because Twitter may be changing hands. Elon Musk has put in a bid, $43 billion to buy Twitter, which is an enormous global game-changing event. For the lack of whatever you think about Twitter, and I know you said only 3% of the population is on Twitter. it is the place where it is the marketplace of ideas. It is where a lot of people get their news. It's a place where people used to debate openly and freely, and we're not censored. And the censorship that has gone on in social media, and it's not just Twitter, it's Facebook, it's YouTube, and everything else, has really, really been one of the most destructive things in my mind that has happened in our free society. And I can bring gazillions of cases to it. For Elon Musk to be able to take over this and bring back free speech initially is a humongous game changer. There's going to be some pushback on it, and I know you're writing a story for Outkick on it. Is there any other information that you have on it? Is this thing going to go through? Is it not? I know Clay Travis talked about this back in January, that this would be a huge move, and I think it's something that's desperately needed in this time.
I know that he's set to do a big conference call coming up at 2 p.m. Pacific time, if I'm correct.
Right.
And you're going to get a lot more information from there. But as far as we know so far, it's a $41 billion bid in total to purchase Twitter. And they could still decline the offer, but I think there might be repercussions if they do. Like, it puts them in a bad spot, and Elon can still somehow find his way to owning the company and take it private, I think, is his goal.
Well, I think the biggest thing that's going to come out of this, it will be the free speech aspect of it. They won't be able to censor Hunter Biden's story. People talking about the lab leak, which is exactly what happened. People talking about issues with the vaccine, all the election things that have always been completely, you get shut down from Twitter for putting anything out there that goes against the left narrative. Let's just be honest about it. And that's big, but what's bigger is what he might uncover. All these algorithms that we know have been shuttering free speech, and why they did it, who put them up to it, how it changed everything, and find out what went on. That might even be more damaging to the left, but it might be more illuminating to the people that value freedom and free speech in this world, like me. So we'll see. But it's a big story that's going on today. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Dave Michigan's going to join us, voice of the Lightning, and we'll talk about this playoff push for Tampa Bay. Stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. In Tampa Bay, they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Christopher Lugo and his team will get you right over there. He works with the military, keeps our top pilots in shape. Can help you as well, BAMMC.com. All right, so pleased to welcome back to the show the great Dave Miskin, voice of the Lightning. Clearly he is at the morning skate with the great sound of skates and pucks in the background. How are you, Mish? What's going on?
I'm doing well, JP. Good to be home. Lightning start a 5-game homestand tonight. And yes, sticks and pucks in the background. The Ducks are in the middle of their morning skate.
Nice. What were your thoughts on the 1-0 loss to the I don't know what's going on back there, but it sounds like they're having fun. The 1-0 loss to the Stars the other night. The good news is the defense is playing much better since Ryan McDonough returned. The bad news is they're having trouble scoring. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I've got earbuds in, so maybe the microphone and the earbuds are a little loud for this phone call and over the air. So hopefully everyone can hear me all right. As far as the Dallas game was concerned, I didn't think it was at the same level. The standard the Lightning hit, certainly in their win against Buffalo, and frankly for a lot of the game that they had at home against the Bruins, a game they lost in overtime. They were not the same standard. I think the opponent had something to do with that, JP, because the Stars are literally like in a battle for playoff survival.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a musical chairs in the West where there are probably 3 teams for 2 spots or maybe 4 teams for 3 spots, and the Stars are in the mix, and they played like it. The Lightning in that situation didn't play like it. That's going to happen sometimes. Tonight, the Lightning get a much different type of opponent, one that's going to miss the playoffs, sometimes plays a little bit more loose. Be that as it may. But the Stars played really, really well. They played like a team that was playing as though playoff survival depended on it. And even having said that, the Lightning held them to 1 goal. But because I think the urgency level, intensity level, execution level, whatever you want to call it, however you want to term it, the Lightning were probably on the short end of that stick, and they were not quite as crisp as they were in the 2 earlier games. Look as clean. They didn't have as much possession, didn't generate as much, and as a result, they got shut out. I mean, that was part of it. Also, Scott Wedgwood played pretty well when the Lightning had chances. He took care of them in that for Dallas. So that game is over and done with. The Lightning do have a couple more games, I would say. Certainly one against Nashville. It's against a team that's in the same boat.
Yeah.
But for them, they're going to be getting more of a steady diet of teams that are either out of the playoffs or securely in the playoffs. And those games aren't easy either. It's just different. And they're not going to be seeing a team that has the same level of intensity that they are going to be seeing when they get into the playoffs.
Dave Mishkin joining us from Morning Skate. Mish, the power play has really struggled, I think, 3 for its last 20-something. And oddly enough, when they lost to Anaheim earlier in the year, 5-1, they were 0 for 7 on the power play in that game. What's going on with the power play now? It certainly isn't for lack of talent. What do you see?
Yeah, it's been streaky, JP, because I remember you mentioned that stat. I remember there was a 3 for 28 run.
Yeah.
The power play was in, and then they busted out of it in a big way when they won in Detroit. They scored a power play goal against the Islanders. Lightning went 4 straight before they kind of had another skid, and the power play was rolling during that time. That was not that long ago. So it's almost as though when you're looking at the trends, when the power plays dried up, the record has not been as good, and when the power play has gotten hot, the record has been quite good.
Yeah.
Not surprisingly, right?
Right.
So I'm not willing to say like this has been 3, 4, 5 weeks where the power play hasn't generated much. They've had some opportunities where they've looked good. In fact, their first opportunity in Dallas the other night was a good power play. They just didn't score on it. The second chance and the third chance, both in the second period, were not good. They didn't generate much, and in fact, they were giving up chances shorthanded. So these things tend to go in cycles. Confidence is a big part of it. When the power play is feeling it, you're more likely to have success, and when you fall into a rut, you are less likely to have success. So hopefully they can get back on track. I do remember that 0 for 7 against Anaheim. The Ducks had everything going for them that night. They outplayed the Lightning badly. They jumped out to, if memory serves, a 3-0 first period lead.
Yeah.
And then the Lightning got a lot of those power plays in the latter part of the game when they were down multiple goals. I mean, they gave up the first 4. They got one back to make it 4-1. Gave up an empty netter to lose 5-1. But that was almost I guess had they scored on those power play chances, the game would have been closer. But that game felt like it was out of reach early.
Yeah.
It was a rare clunker the Lightning had during that stretch in the season when they were winning a lot more than losing.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they're going to get 7 chances again tonight. The chances they do get, you would like to see them zip the puck around and even if they don't score, create some chances and build momentum.
Dave Michigan joining us from Morning Skate. It's the Bolts in Anaheim tonight, 7 o'clock. Now, another a point that is always shows whether the Lightning are going well or not is the play of Andrei Vasilevsky. He carries this team through the good and the bad. And there's some thought that he might be a little bit tired. There may be some issues with what's going on in his homeland as well. I've heard that players have been very distracted. Obviously, that wouldn't surprise anybody. What do you think's going on with Vasi, and do you think getting him some rest down the stretch is going to help?
Well, I can't speak to what's going on in Russia.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to try to talk about what that's like, not just for him, but for any of the Russian-born players playing in the NHL. What I can tell you is what I'm seeing. And I think that prior to the last couple of starts, Vasilevsky was probably not playing at the level that we're used to seeing him play at, which is to say maybe he would give up 4 goals, and a couple of them he didn't really have much chance on, but a couple of them maybe he normally stops.
Yeah.
Not that they were easy saves, but he is Andrei Vasilevsky, so normally he makes those saves. I will say in the last 2 starts in which he's given up 2 goals in regulation against Boston and against Dallas, he's looked like his usual self. So I don't know about this whole notion of quote-unquote being tired. Are we saying physically tired? Are we saying mentally tired based on the number of big games he's had to play in the last couple of years? I guess we'll find out when the playoffs start.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this team had a lot of time off in February. And because the NHL players didn't go to the Olympics, I think there was some concern that, maybe the Lightning had all these guys go to the Olympics and playing in that tournament in China and then coming back and finishing out an 82-game regular season. What would they have left in the playoffs? That scenario didn't materialize.
Right.
I would be more amenable to kind of understanding that point of view than quote unquote tired, because I mean the Lightning did have a pretty lengthy break in February.
Yeah.
And I mean, are we saying mentally tired? Well, if that's the case, I think that has more to do with where they are in their trajectory to try and win 3 in a row, which is to say they've taken care of basically what they've needed to take care of to set themselves up to win 3 in a row. To win 3 in a row, you got to get in the playoffs. They're 2 points away from getting in the playoffs. They've done what they've needed to in the regular season, but their journey to win a 3rd straight cup is not going to start tonight. It's going to start in game 1 of the playoffs.
Right.
That's just a fact. I don't know if that is a potential reason as to why maybe at times have most dialed in mentally, but it's understandable. And it's also reasonable to expect that when the playoffs do begin, that level is going to go way up, and their kind of attention to detail and how dialed in they are going to be is going to be much more playoff-like than what we're seeing right now.
Well, he certainly played great last game out. Is he going to start tonight, or do you think we'll see Brian Elliott?
No, I think Vasi's starting tonight.
Okay.
Based on how the morning skate unfolded.
Yeah.
Now, Coop did say before the Dallas game when the Lightning had 10 games left that he's like, don't hold me to this. There may be a 6-4 split.
Right.
There are a couple of back-to-backs in there. But if that's the case, we'll get some games that are not a back-to-back, just as he did in the Buffalo home game. That was not a back-to-back. So it sounds like Elliott will get some starts down the stretch here outside of the back-to-back, but I don't think it's going to be tonight.
Dave Michigan joining us here. And Dave, the big question everybody wants to know is these last 10 games, will the Lightning find some homes for the new players? It seems like they haven't really, as well as, Nick Paul and Hagel have played at times. It feels like they're still moving around. Do you think they'll find a spot that everybody's comfortable? Are they still searching for that, you think? Because I think this team's best hockey is still in front of them as these guys get more adjusted to playing with the Lightning. Your thoughts?
So I kind of feel that's almost 2 questions. So where are Hagel and Paul? And then how is the lineup going to look in the line combinations? And they're connected, but I think they are 2 separate questions to think about. So as far as the line combos are concerned, John Cooper is pretty transparent in how he works the lines. If you want to figure out what he thinks of the line, if things are not going well, he's mixing up the line. and he usually does it sooner rather than later. If things are going pretty much to his liking, he keeps the lines intact. And he puts the line combinations that we're seeing right now were put together in the first period of the Lightning's game in Washington after they gave up a couple of early goals. Starting with the second period of that Washington game, it's been 11 periods of regulation, and the Lightning have allowed 3 goals. 1 for the rest of that Washington game, 1 against Boston, 1 against Dallas.
Yeah.
Not coincidentally, those 4 forward line combinations have stayed intact.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
Okay.
I think he's taking what he's seeing from how he's constructed these lines. They do a lot offensively against Dallas. No. Would he like to see them generate more? Yes. But did they get through that game with 1 goal allowed? Yes. And I think that ranks pretty high on the priority list for Coop. So as it currently stands, you got Hagel playing with Cirelli and Killorn. I do think that line is building chemistry. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think Hagel has taken a little bit longer to kind of get acclimated and get comfortable, if that's the right word, than Paul.
Yeah.
Paul looks like he's basically slotted in, and wherever they put him, he's been able to kind of play his game and do what he needs to do. Hagel has been upfront about saying, like, this is an adjustment.
Yeah.
And it's taking me longer than I would have hoped. But I thought one of his best games with the Lightning was actually that game in Dallas. And what I'm kind of basing that on is he was in on a lot of pucks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm following the puck. So if I'm seeing a lot of Hagel, that means that he either has the puck or he's pressuring somebody with the puck. And he was in on a puck. That's his game. If you have hesitancy in your game, you're probably not going to be on as many pucks as he was in that Dallas game. So I think both guys are slotting in. They found some line combinations that they like, talking about the Lightning. And I do believe that in these last, whatever it is, 9 games in the regular season, that will continue to trend upward. And hopefully both guys will be raring to go once the playoffs begin.
He's the great Dave Mishkin. Thank you for bringing us the sights and sound, well, the sounds anyway, of morning skate and some great analysis. Appreciate it all the time, Mish. We'll see you tonight for a big game against Anaheim. Hopefully the Lightning can clinch their playoff spot.
I hope so, JP. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. The great Dave Mishkin right there. That's like we were sitting right next to him at morning skate having a little hockey talk there. That was fun. I like that. Hope you guys did too. All right. Do we need to take another break? All right, another quick break. When we come back, we'll give you the lineup for today. We got day baseball today. 12:30 first start, first pitch for the Rays. So let's quick break. We'll be back. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All righty, welcome back. We are brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Testosterone replacement therapy is something they do very, very well. So if you're interested in that, feel a little down, feel a little tired, not like you used to be, check them out, BAMMC.com. All right, we got the Rays and the A's trying to even up this 4-game series for the Rays. Lineup today, Yandy Diaz in the leadoff role, batting first and playing first. Wander Franco playing short in the 2-hole. Harold Ramirez will be the DH today, batting third. Randy Arozarena batting cleanup, playing left field. Brandon Lau will be at second base, batting fifth. Manuel Margot will be in right field, batting sixth, replacing Josh Lowe, who was did not have his best game last night. Zanino will be doing the catching. Kiermaier batting eighth and center. And Taylor Walls playing third today, batting in the ninth position. And Josh Fleming, who pitched so well in his first game, will be on the hill today for your Tampa Bay Rays, who started the season 4-2. Not too shabby, but coming off of last night's nuts. Well, hey, look, McClanahan was great last night. He was great. He was fantastic. Just made one bad pitch. The offense left a little to be desired last night in some big situations. Josh Lowe came up empty, as did a bunch of guys. So we'll see if they can get those RBIs tonight or today. Yeah, somebody just sent me this tweet that they found Brett Phillips' home run ball in the C ring at the Trop, and Brett will be signing it and giving to Chloe. I would hope that they did a little video of that, going up there to get the ball and grab it. And like I said earlier, it'd be nice to put a little sign up there on the catwalk where it landed. And, for Chloe, C ring for Chloe, and, have a little remembrance of that. I think that'd be good karma. They should do that. All right. What else we got to get to? Tiger has committed to playing in the Irish Pro-Am. I think it's a couple weeks before or the week before. Got to be a couple weeks before. I don't think he's going to play the week before in what could be a very cold and wet Irish Pro-Am, even in the middle of summer. So, but he's going to play in that, and then also is committed to playing in the Open. Of course, all this could change depending on how his continued rehab goes from back and his leg as well. But that's good to see him starting to put more things on the schedule. That's pretty damn good. The Bucks today, I think they got another workout today, and we'll be doing some more interviews today. So we'll try to get those to you tomorrow. Let me see if there's any other things that we have missed today, any other stories. Oh, I did have to comment a little bit on, thank God yesterday the New York police did find the shooter, and he has been arrested, and we have now found out more about the motives, even though it's plain as day why he did what he did. His social media is just full of incredibly racist, anti-white anger, more so than I've ever seen in my life. As we talk about, the censorship of Twitter and social media, it boggles the mind that someone can put up that kind of hate and literally say he's going to go out and shoot white people for being white people. And that's okay to keep that up on social media, but the former president of the United States can't be on social media. You can't talk about vaccines. You can't talk about elections. You can't talk about lab leaks. You can't talk about any of that stuff. That's banned. But I'm going to kill Whitey and all white people are racist and all that's okay for social media. I mean, it boggles the mind, but this is the world we live in right now. And, the fact that there's still media outlets that can't talk about the motive. We don't know what the motive is in this. I mean, it's laughable. And, and I've said this for a long time, and Jason Whitlock wrote a great piece on this, especially when Disney bought ESPN and the way they've been running ESPN over the last few years, constantly talking about race and stoking up racial division, and in a lot of ways, speaking untruths about what's going on in this country. This is and the president of the United States and the vice president saying this is a systemically racist country. I don't believe that. We have issues with race. There's no question about it. It's not systemically racist, not more so than any other place in this world. I mean, this is the biggest place for minorities to have the greatest opportunity anywhere in the world. There's no question about that, and always has been. But we continue this narrative that if you're a young black person, you think that you have no choice, no chance in this world, and older black people as well, stoking these fires. And it's just not what's needed, in my opinion. And we need to bring some balance to it. Yes, we still have issues, no question about that, but not to the level that I think we're stoking a lot of these fires. So we need more unity, not more division. And hopefully we can bring that back to our sports as well, because it's a great place for it. All right. Our thanks to Dave Mishkin, who joined us, Chris Torello. If you missed anything, you can always check us out on the podcast on Apple and Spotify and on fanstreamsports.com. Go Bolts. Go Rays. Talk to you tomorrow.